Okay. Beta. I'm gonna show y'all boys where I'm from, man. I'm from that.
Alright, what it do? What it do? Still with the camera shine like a lamp. Big boss out, boss dog. Can't poke through the door. Hit the top to the box before I get my solidity. Maybe 12 times don't last. Could be video dog. Off yourself. Caught him in the fight line. Maybe you got a peak game. 84's on what's one. Alright, man. So, there's one thing I noticed recently. And I appreciate everybody on the last video that I, made about the Canelo Alvarez cook Terence Crawford. Appreciate everybody. But something that was pointed out, right? I was thinking about it, but a lot of people start commenting and saying the same thing I was thinking. So I said, I'll make a video. You ever notice that Terence Crawford, when people ask him about his resume, and they start talking about the fighters, the elite fighters on his resume, he never mentions Errol Spence. When they start talking about fights that kind of got him over the hump, he never mentions the Errol Spence fight. He always talks about Ricky Burns and Victor Postal, right? He always talk about the non-black fighters. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I question. Because I'm like, the Errol Spence fight is what kind of took you to another stratosphere, right? We're just going to be honest. That fight right there was the fight that took you to another level. You know what I mean? Where people was like, man, no, pure boxing heads knew Terence Crawford could fight. You know what I'm saying? We all knew you could fight. I just didn't think you could beat Errol. That's just what it is. I mean, I'm be real. I didn't think you could beat Errol. And you proved me wrong. You proved a lot of people wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us felt like Errol was more proven because of the fights that he was fighting and the type of fighters he was fighting. He wasn't fighting no easy fights. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Crawford was kind of fighting easy, well, not kind of. He was fighting easy fights. We just gonna say it. You know what I mean? I don't give a damn. He was fighting easy fights. Right? He was fighting easy fights. He was going the easy route, right? Like the Bud Buddy say about Errol. He was going the easy route. Okay? He waited until Errol fought everybody and then decided, I'll fight him now. Right? That's just what it is. That's just the facts. But it's just crazy to me how he never mentions Errol. Right? I think Terence Crawford has a deep down hatred and he's jealous of Errol Spence. Now I know your Bud Buddy gonna say, how's he jealous of the guy that he beat? He beat him. So why is he jealous of him? Y'all are reaching. I tell you, I prove it. Listen to me. Each time you talk about Errol Spence, he gets upset a little bit. Right? And also, each time everybody talk about Errol Spence and the love and the respect that he gets upset. Because he don't understand why Errol Spence gets the love and respect that he gets. Probably the reason because Errol Spence is a real fighter. I'm not saying Terence Crawford ain't a real fighter, but Errol Spence is a real fighter. Nah, did he live the fighter lifestyle? No, okay? Yeah, he didn't live the fighter lifestyle. We gonna keep it 1,000. But that man fought anybody and everybody at 147 pounds. Right? Even coming off accidents, even when he won 100%, he fought everybody. He got to it. And that's one thing that a lot of people respect about Errol Spence. He didn't play politic games. He got to it, right? The Terence Crawford fight, he got to it, right? When I mean got to it, meaning he made sure that fight happened because that's the fight that he wanted. That was the last fight, right? Now, granted, he was being advised not to fight Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford wanted an arm and a leg for the fight. But Errol said, I don't care. Give it to him. I want to fight. I'm tired of all this talking, all this, that, and the third. I want to fight. And he fought him. He lost. You know what I mean? But it's like at the end of the day, Terence Crawford fails to recognize that was the fight that put him on the map. That was the fight that crossed him over. Right? You see, you got to understand that Terence Crawford was just a pure boxing head favorite fighter. You know what I'm saying? But when he beat Errol, he crossed over into another realm, right? Into another stratosphere. Gained new fans. Pockets are a little swollen now. Now, granted, I think he letting the fame get to his head a little bit because, you know, he messed around on his old lady. You know, you got to be solid all the way around the board, but it is what it is. All I'm saying at the end of the day is like, when you look at the totality of the circumstances, this man never recognizes his best win, which was Errol Spence. It wasn't Gamboa. It wasn't Ricky Burns. It wasn't Bradis Prescott. It wasn't Victor Postal. It wasn't Ndongo. Errol's, the Truth Spence Jr., was Terence Crawford's best win. That was the fight that put him on the map. That's the fight he needs to recognize. That's the fighter that he needs to be like, you know what? If I didn't beat Errol, right, I wouldn't be here fighting Canelo. That's real talk. Errol Spence is the reason why Terence Crawford is getting the biggest payday of his life. He wouldn't have got this opportunity if he didn't beat Errol. He took care of business. He beat Errol, right? Errol gave him the opportunity. He took advantage of the opportunity, and he took it to a whole nother level. Now you finna get in the ring, get the best career high payday. You finna be in the biggest pay-per-view. Well, I won't say that. But it's gonna be the biggest pay-per-view for you. Because you ain't used to fighting in front of all these people. Right? So, but the thing that I call him out on is this. Bob Arum was talking trash about you. You didn't say nothing to him. But the minute anybody black say anything about you, you at their neck. You want to fight. You want to get some street stuff. You pressing them. The energy is different. You feel what I'm saying? You're not consistent. And that's what Boss got to call out. Because if anything, you should be more lenient towards your own people and be charging up these white people. You know what I'm saying? That's real talk. You know what I'm saying? But no, not Terence. See, what Terence got to realize is Errol Spence is the reason why your pockets is where it's at right now. If Errol Spence say, man, you pricing yourself out, we ain't fighting. You don't get that fight, I don't think Terence Crawford is in this position. So it all ties back to Errol. The same fighter you keep disrespecting. The same fighter who gave you the opportunity. Right? Errol didn't have to fight Terence Crawford. I want to make that perfectly clear. He didn't have to fight that nigga. He could have been like, man, I'm going 154 and drop the belts. You know what I'm saying? But Errol Spence like, shit, nigga, I'm the truth. You know what I mean? I fought Danny Garcia off eye injury. I fought Danny Garcia off the accident. I fought Ugas off my eye injury. It is what it is. I've been through worse. Let's get to it. So I respect Errol, you know what I'm saying? You gotta respect Errol. All this ties back to Errol, bro. If Errol didn't give that nigga that opportunity, Terence Crawford would not be in this position. I'm telling you this. He wouldn't. But it's like he fails to recognize his best win. Errol is the reason why Terence Crawford is in this position. Without Errol Spence, there is no Canelo Terence Crawford. And we just being truthful. I don't care what no Bud Booty Warrior say. Without Errol, this opportunity don't come. So I just want y'all to understand something, bro. And well, I want Bud to understand something. Stop mentioning Ricky Burns when somebody asks you about what elite fighter have you fought. Talk about it. So Ricky Burns an elite? No, he's not elite. What are you talking about, sir? So Victor Post an elite? No. So he wasn't elite commercially. He wasn't elite at all. What fighters did he fight? Don't worry. What fighters did Victor Poster fight at that time for you to be like, you know what, man? That nigga the top of the line. Huh? What are you talking about, bro? Now, granted, I won't say they necessarily suck. They were decent to good fighters, right? But Terence, your resume is what it is, right? And Terence needs to stop trying to advocate for his resume like, oh, well, you know, no. Just sit there and be like, you know what, it don't matter. I'm gonna beat you. That's what he needs to say. Instead of trying to, because you make yourself look stupid when you sit there and talk about, well, so he was being commercially. You actually trying to, bro, stop doing that stuff, bro. You clown. You look like a clown. Bro, when that man sat up and propped himself up, was like, so Ricky Burns went elite. No. So Victor Poster went elite. No. You're naming two fighters that smaller weight classes. Ricky Burns at 135, right? And Victor Poster at 140. You fight Canelo at 168. You have since fought 12 fights, right? You fought 12 fights since then. Stop bringing up these niggas. Stop doing that, bro. Each time they fought, Ricky Burns. I think Ricky Burns. No, bro. Errol Spence is the fight that really put you in another stratosphere to where your pockets got lined up. That was the fight. Give the man his credit, bro. Without that fight, you don't get this fight with Canelo. That's real talk. And I'm willing to debate anybody on that. Okay? It don't mean that the dude sucked because his resume lacks. If you can fight, you can fight, bro. I know dudes, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, that I've seen personally in the gym, boxing gym. Okay? They couldn't go professional for some reason, but they can fight. It's dudes in the gym, bro, that I know personally that can probably beat some pro boxers right now. Real talk. If they had the same time to train, had a good training camp, bro, I'm telling you, and they fought, they could probably beat them. You know what I'm saying? But they had to give up the sport. It's the same thing like in basketball. I know some dudes in the hood, if they would have stayed focused, bro, they would have been shining in the league. Same thing in football. I had a teammate, I ain't gonna mention his name because I pay homage and respect. Not gonna mention his name. He got killed, bro. That was the best football player. He played linebacker. That was the best football player I've been around. You know what I'm saying? If he would have stayed focused, bro, man. All I'm saying at the end of the day is that, to get back on topic, Crawford gotta stop with the foolishness, bro. Pay homage and respect to Errol. But I've been telling y'all, even since before the build up to the Errol Spence fight, I told y'all, I said, that nigga don't like Errol, bro. He don't like that dude, bro. He jealous of Errol. He don't understand. And you can go back and watch the video when I said this. I said he don't understand why Errol Spence is where he is. And it bothers him. It bothers him still to this day that Errol Spence get the respect that he get. See, he whooped Errol, so he thought like, man, that's it. He done. But Errol still get more respect and love more than him. You know what I'm saying? You got people like writing Errol, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Errol, when you coming back? To the point where Errol had to come back and say on Twitter and be like, look, I come back when I'm ready, bro. Don't be rushing me, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You got Devin Haney and his daddy talking about, we want to fight Errol at a catch weight. Like, bro, Errol just that dude, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, everybody thinks stuff sweet because he lost to Terence Crawford. I'm telling you. Y'all keep playing with that nigga if you want to. You know, David Haney, get in there with Errol. I'm telling you, he getting stopped, bro, violently. I don't care what version of Errol Spence in there. He's stopping him violently. David Haney not built like that. David Haney, look, you got different type of fighters. You got fighters that fight because they daddy made them. And you got fighters that fight because they had to, right? Or they just like to fight. Errol was that guy that liked to fight. His daddy wanted him to play football and stuff. Errol wanted to fight. You know what I'm saying? David Haney daddy is putting a battery in his back. And I'm telling you, David Haney daddy gonna get that man put in a box, body bag, toe tag if he get in there with Errol. I'm telling you. All right? But to get back on topic, Bud need to pay homage and respect, bro. That's what it is. Just pay homage and respect to that man, bro. You know what I'm saying? Look, my greatest win was Errol Spence. When people start talking about, even if you don't feel like he was elite, he's better than everybody else on your resume. Nobody else on Terence Crawford's resume was even in the stratosphere of Errol Spence has the resume that Errol Spence got. So if you don't feel like he elite, that's cool. You know, I can understand it. You know, I'm not gonna sin cap. I can understand it. You know, but at the same time, he's the best fighter that Crawford's ever fought. Right? Now, when he fight Canelo, that would trump the Errol Spence as far as best fighters he's been in the ring with. But I'm telling you, Errol better than Ricky Burns, Victor Postal, Julius Ndongo. I done came down and hit the bongo, switch lane, grip grain, now I'm in Congo. Bro, stop playing, bro. Errol Spence is the best fighter on Crawford resume, and he fails to realize that. I know what the Bud Brothers gonna say. Oh, it's because he sucks. He whooped Errol so easy. He whooped Errol easier than his fight with Ricky Burns. He whooped Errol easier than his fight with Julius Ndongo. He whooped Errol easier than his fight with Gamboa. It was easier. Okay. I could say it's a legit argument. Psych! No, nigga, there ain't no legit argument. What you talking about, bro? You know what I mean? Like I said before, man, Errol is a different type of animal. Styles make fights. Terence Crawford's style matched up against Errol Spence's. That's it. Right? That's what it boiled down to. If they fought 50 times, Terence Crawford would probably win 25 times out of 50. You know what I'm saying? I still think if they fought today, that's still a 50-50 fight. You know what I'm saying? Do I think they should fight? I don't know. It switches with me. Sometimes I'm like, nah. Then sometimes I'm like, yeah. Right? Because at another weight, it could be different. You feel me? So all I'm saying at the end of the day, to keep it 1,000, keep it trill, coming down, working with Will. But recognize your greatest win. Your greatest fighter on your resume is Errol Spence. That should be the first thing you say. Errol, what's the greatest win on your resume? When they say, hey man, who's the top fighter on your resume? Errol. Because that's the fight that put you on the map. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Boss gone.